Alright, so imagine one day, you're showing up to your favorite karate class, about to learn some karate, get your blue belt, get your fight on. When all of a sudden, there's a massive disagreement between your sensei and the owner of the karate club. And they decide, we're going to split it up, and you're faced with a choice. Do you go with your sensei, the guy who teaches you, or do you go with the owner of the club? Now, this was an actual real event that happened, and it was compiled into a data set known as Zachary's Karate Club, and it was faced with the question of who would the students be more loyal to based on like who they're acquainted with. It's because students are both acquainted with the owner and the sensei, so logically you would assume that they would form in groups, and you would have to find out who would be likely to go to the sensei and who would be likely to go to the owner, just based off of their relationships with the owner and the sensei and the other students. And so Zachary is not actually the owner of the karate club. He's the man who compiled all of this data into this nice graph we have right here, which shows the number one, which is either the sensei or the owner. It's these two guys right here. And the other 32 students that they have, and all the relationships between the students and the senseis and all of them. You can see them all right here. All these lines represent a relationship they have. So 22 is friends with 2, and either the owner or the sensei. And essentially what the data set is for is we're going to try to predict who they will join just based on these relationships that we're seeing here. And when you run it through a clustering algorithm like we did, you get these types of graphs, that find out, who will go with who. And the problem, normally would be super easy to figure out just because, as you can see here, a lot of them would be pretty easy, 1 and 22 is only connected with, with one of the primary owners, one of the authoritarian positions. So obviously you wouldn't go there, but the cases are, problems arise in situations like number 9 right here, where he's both friends with 34 and 1. So the problem lies within how do we get 9? If he's friends with, both of them, he's acquainted to both of them, how do we know? And we could guess this because of his relationships between other students, as, people are more likely to go with whatever their friends are doing. If all your friends are going with the sensei, you're more likely to go with the sensei. And that's pretty much what happened. Alright, and I know I'm breaking cardinal sin here by going over to the concept map, but sadly I cannot access these pictures any other way, and I did not necessarily feel like rewriting the entire code. So up here you can actually see a picture of the type of graph that we got, very similar to the one over here. You can see it like this. Each time you actually do run these graphs, you do receive different pictures depending on it picks a random point on the efficiency curve of which graph is going to make, so that's why they're always going to be different. And here's kind of like one of the main components of our code. It's the draw communities code. It's what actually draws, the communities of these things. And I do not understand necessarily every single part of what exactly is going on here, right? But I generally know that we're loading in all the students into a plot, and then for the students in the club, we are, we're going to run a learning algorithm to figure out whether or not they're in one of the clubs or not, based on their relationships.